Okay everyone, so now we're getting back to shading. Today we're going to be doing the shading of the eyelid along with the pretty much just the rest of the eye, not the background skin or the lashes. So now what you see me doing now is just kind of taking away all of the grid lines and lettering, because that again is only there for reference. That's why we do it lightly. So while you're erasing, just be super careful that you're not erasing any of your contour. That's important. You want to just take out those grid lines. They're no longer necessary inside the eyeball as well. And the numbers can go also. So take away those grid lines, and now with the 2B pencil we're going to get ready to do the eyelid shading along with the eyeball, inner tear duct as well, with a 2B pencil. So you'll need a 2B, you'll need a Q-tip, and that's about it. And you need your photograph as well. So what I want you to notice first before we start, when you're looking at this, I know we just erased the letters, but you can still kind of faintly see the residue of where things were. If you look in like the C1-2 area, you notice that in this eyelid, there's kind of like this like U shape of light that happens in here. So I kind of want you to just like block that in, and it kind of touches. So it's like it's almost a C. There's like a C shape in the C column. What are the odds of that? Alright, so now with a 2B pencil, I'm going to look at what I see here. It's kind of darker on the left side. So what I do first is I'm going to kind of run full pressure around this outline. I'm kind of just darkening. I know I tell you never to have a dark outline, but we're going to phase out the outline. So just go back and forth, side of the pencil, 2B. There's also the second line that gets darkened as well, and then it runs in to the first. So notice how I kind of go back and forth. So now from this outline here at this section, I'm going to start doing a gradient. So I'm going to push medium pressure. So I'm kind of stopping, if you notice where that C shape is that I did. So I kind of want this to go from dark, and I'm kind of following this curvy contour, and now I'm pushing a little lighter on my pencil to lighten it up. So I'm kind of creating a base coat gradient from dark at the lid, the top of the lid I should say. I'm going to just graze over it again and do another coat around there. So kind of just base coated dark to light. Now where this C shape is happening, it's got to be a little less. So I'm going to start with the outline first. And I'm going to just very lightly create just a little bit of a gradient. So this side is more of a, and I'm leaving the section alone for a second, that center, because I need to change it up. So this is kind of like a 3 to a 1. This is like a 5 to a 1. This has the whole scale. This has just the middle. But now when I get here, I'm going to kind of start going this way with it. I'm going to start to wrap around a bit. And now I'm going to actually move to the left with this C shape. And I'm going not too hard with the pencil. And I'm trying to phase out that ring that I just created. So this again is the base coat. And I always start from the dark section and I pull light pressure down. So you can kind of now graze in here a little just to kind of give like that one value within that whole thing. Then you're going to take your Q-tip and you're going to again start from the dark outline, go all the way across the dark outline just to kind of fuzz out that line so it's a little softer. You can kind of smudge in here as well. And now you're going to just on the left side soften those pencil lines, pulling back and forth. Now I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to go around here. Again, I'm leaving the C section alone for a second. Very lightly on this side because again in the picture it's very light value that's happening here. But now right here I'm going to continue this C curve. So I'm going to start with the dirty Q-tip first in the light section. Then I'm going to pull it to where I created that darker ring, spend some time here for a second, and then continue to pull that to the left as well. So this little C curve thing that's happening in the eyelid, so I'm going to also go from right to left just to get rid of the C shape a bit. I'm pushing a little harder now just to solidify all the blending. So that's a pretty solid outline, shading. I'm going to go one more coat on everything with my pencil just to kind of build up some of those darker values. So very lightly now, I'm just kind of doing one last coat. And this time, I'm going to go right up to where that C line was. And I'm going to just use the dirty Q-tip for right here to get rid of this shape right here. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the top of the eyelid. What I want everyone to do now, not too dark of an outline. I just kind of want you to really get that outline. Again, not too dark, but you want to get something there so that you can see your eye outline. So I'm really touching lightly, again, with the 2B pencil, but I just want to just re-outline. This bottom line where the lashes are going to go is really not important, and it shouldn't be dark at all, but at least get me this top of the eye and the bottom of the eye where the eye is white inside here. So now what we're going to do, we're going to look at the eyeball, this section in here. The eyeball is rounded. Your eyeball is a round ball inside a socket. So whenever you're shading an eyeball, if you look in the picture, it's going to get these like C-like curves, like the way our sphere would get, because again, it's an eyeball. So what I want you to do is start on the left side first. Don't worry so much about the tear duct yet. We're going to go there next. You're going to start right where the tear duct outline starts. So now in this C-like motion, I'm going to go like 3 value, back and forth, lighten up the pressure till I kind of reach about like the start of the 2 column that used to be a 2 column. But again, notice how I'm kind of keeping it curved. I'm not coloring on a vertical. I want these lines to have some type of arch. Take your Q-tip, start at the dark, keeping that curved motion, pushing fairly hard here with this, and now pull with the Q-tip only, and basically pull it until it kind of phases out onto the iris. So you can start again if you see a lot of those pencil lines still. Push a little harder with the Q-tip. So you want to keep this curvy kind of roundness. Now this side here is very light, so what you're going to do is just use the dirty Q-tip. Right here in this corner where it's pointed, I'm going to start doing an opposite C and just kind of phasing out from like a 2 value to a nothing. I know you don't really see this in the picture, but you do want to have the illusion that there's this like rounded darkness on both sides. So that's pretty much it for the eyeball. Then you're going to go into this section here of the tear duct. So if you look at the tear duct, there's these like blobs of very bright highlights. So I kind of drew those in already as these like little shapes. So that's what I want you to do first. Kind of look at where they are and just give it this like very organic. Again, it does not need to be exact because nobody's going to be looking at this picture after we're done. But you want to try your best to observe as best you can. So block it in with a pretty solid outline. And then what I want you to do is kind of be very scratchy and dark. So when I say scratchy, like kind of like almost as if it's like a very childish fill-in. I'm kind of just being like very like rugged with my pencil. So I'm going to kind of fill in the tear duct, leaving those white sections alone. I'm moving around it, but I'm leaving like it's not totally filled in. There's some speckliness to the way I'm coloring, but I'm leaving those white sections alone. So I kind of just want you to just be real kind of scratchy with this application in the tear duct because there's a lot of moisture in here and a lot of highlights and a lot of tonal arrangement. So if you do this, this is kind of like the fastest way to produce this illusion. Now what I want you to do is kind of follow with your Q-tip, the outline first. Then go in very jaggedy again as well and just kind of fuzz this out. Not too hard, but just kind of like, and that's pretty much it. So now like just that little scratchiness of pencil application gives you the illusion of the darks, lights, mediums, and highlights as well, because you did those little blobs of white there. Last thing we're going to do is the skin that's happening. So underneath where the eyeball is, it's a bit of a one shade darker. So what I want you to actually do, because you drew this outline already of the bottom of the eye, you're going to use that outline along with the dirty Q-tip, and you're going to follow the outline about middle of the iris. So follow along this outline, and then I want you to just use the dirty Q-tip in this curved motion and kind of just pull it. Again, if your Q-tip doesn't have enough residue on it, you could always dirty up a piece of paper separately. Like put a little application of value somewhere else, not on here obviously, and use that to pick up some more value. And go along just the outline. So we need this pretty light of a tone. That's why, and it should be very soft as well. So I don't want you to have I don't want you to put pencil here. I'd rather you use the residue. So go back and forth in the bottom of this curve to finish up that skin. So this is kind of like a 3 to a 2 in this little section. And then what I want you to do is just kind of lighten this line that we made for the eyelashes. Because now the bottom of this gets created by the value, and we're going to make the lashes come from that. So again, all of your grid lines should be gone. I made mine very dark. It's why it's kind of hard to get rid of. But you do not really want them there. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the shading of the eyelid, eyeball, and bottom of the eye skin down there. So this is pretty much what you want it to look like. And now what we're going to do is add the skin tone in the back and the lashes for the final touches. We'll do that next video.